International trade. All right. So since we now know that trade, how do we figure out how much? Actually, it does. I don't think delivery of weapons packages via air is the kind of trade that we're talking about here. So if trade makes everyone better off, how do we figure out how much a country will trade? Who benefits? Who does trade harm? Because although the rule is trade makes everyone better off, there are almost always some people who aren't better off. Not nations. Individuals are sometimes harmed by trade. And do the gains as a whole outweigh the losses? If policymakers restrict imports, who benefits? Who's hurt? Do the gains from restricting imports outweigh the losses? Is there an economic justification for restricting imports? What are the common arguments out there for restricting trade, and are they valid? Do they have actual weight economically? Okay. These are issues that are debated every day, guys. This is totally real world. What? I don't have a monopoly thing on either one of these. What? Really? Oh, my. Okay. All right. This lecture is going to be over real fast.
It's like, I quit.
That's actually sadly true. Okay, so comparative advantage, since we clearly need to review this for you guys. Lower opportunity cost. Medium fries!
So do you quit now?
I'll quit after I have my heart attack.
I'm rich.
All right. Comparative advantage. If you make it at a lower opportunity cost, you have the comparative advantage. What's absolute advantage? Yeah, when you make it at an absolute lower cost. Okay. So, to benefit from trade, you need to trade the goods where you have comparative advantage. If you choose to trade goods where you don't have a comparative advantage, guess what? You lose. You lose. That's trade where it doesn't benefit. In order to benefit, you have to trade where you have a comparative advantage. Have to trade those goods. So now we look at welfare economics to see where the gains come from and who gets them. By the way, is there anybody in here who hasn't taken the quiz? Okay then, never mind.
Step outside. Yeah, step outside.
Nope.
Speak freely.
Oh, no, I don't think so. All right. Are you ready for more little abbreviations for your graphs? P sub W is world price of a good. P sub W is world price. P sub D is domestic price. So, if domestic price is lower than world price, what do you suppose? If domestic price is lower than world price, absolutely export. Get it out. Get it out. You got the comparative advantage. Right? Not necessarily surplus. Where you can make the money, man. You can stay home and do chores, or you can go work and get paid. Which are you doing? Uh-huh. Okay. If free trade conditions exist, the country's going to export. If free trade conditions exist, the country will export. If the domestic price is higher than the world price, you don't have the comparative advantage, and you should opt to import for maximum benefit and efficiency. Do we know that countries don't always do these things? Absolutely. Positively, we know that. Okay. Now, I know you guys hate to assume things, especially if you ever had Mr. Kupfer, but there are some assumptions you have to make in economics. Am I going too fast? I see lots of scribbling still. I'll wait. This is phenomenal because you're understanding it? This makes sense. If we stopped now and went back and started over, it would all make sense too. Okay, small economy assumption. A small economy is a price taker. That is a vocabulary phrase you're going to have to become one with. Price taker. When a small economy is a price, or a small economy is a price taker, and its actions have no impact on the world price. They are too small, too insignificant to matter in the whole market. Okay? If I quit drinking Coke, Coca-Cola is not going out of business. They're not going to have to lower their price to woo me back. I am a small economy. Okay? Are you with me? Yeah. If Botswana quits buying Levi jeans from the United States, no impact on world price. Okay? Botswana's on my mind because there's only one power plant in Botswana and it's broken. And so Botswana, the nation, is having to import all of its power. Botswana is not a small nation, if you know anything about Southern Africa. This is, I don't know how many people were actually drawing electrical power in Botswana, but you'd have to think some. Okay. Try not to hate me. The small economy assumption isn't always actually true. But to learn the lesson, go with it. Well, ceteris paribus doesn't apply here, but my gosh. All right. When a small economy trades, the world price is the only relevant price. No seller out there is going to accept less than the world price since they could go to the world market to sell and get that price. This should be common sense. At the same world price equilibrium,
how do you know it's a she?
No buyer is going to pay more than the world price because all he would have to do is go to the world market to get that price. I have a bottle of Pepsi here for $1.75. Who wants it? And you're looking at me going, all I have to do is walk down the hall and I get the same thing for $1.50. Small market price, world price. Right? I'm not going to be able to sell it. You're not going to pay for it.
What does it mean when the seller would accept less than BW?
No seller would accept less. So I'm not going to sell a bottle of Pepsi for $1.25 if I could just go out and stand beside the Pepsi machine and wait until it sells out and then go $1.50.
Do they charge more than the world price?
Who?
Well, like, were you saying you charge for $1.75?
But what this is saying is if I'm trying to charge $1.75, I'm not going to get it because buyers know the world price and they're not going to pay more than it. Operate in the assumption. Okay. Soybeans. A gripping good. However, a vital one in the global economy. Without trade, the domestic price is $4 a bushel. So, yeah, bushel. It's been a while since I've listened to the crop report. The quantity demanded and quantity supplied would be 500 bushels at $4 a bushel. But the world price is $6 a bushel. So why would I sell my soybeans here when I could sell them on the world market? Yes, sir.
Because you have like extra costs of transportation.
Use your words.
Live in this example. Don't be bringing practical things into this. Taylor.
But that's like your total revenue is more selling less.
Your total revenue is more selling less.
You're like selling a bigger quantity.
Oh, you're not selling a bigger quantity. Read the graph. The quantity demanded on the world market is less. We're about to do that math and the whole triangle thing.
Wouldn't that be like kind of like a price like
Oh, it's a little like a price floor, yes.
Why are you talking about? You sound like
Okay. Under free trade, remember this graph is the domestic market. Under free trade, domestic consumers will pay $6 a bushel, but they're not going to buy all 500 of your bushels. They only want those 500 at $4. What did you start that statement with? If. If is now an F word in here.
Does that mean
Put
that
in the
you
cuts
get
jar.
one thing?
Yeah.
You can't say if in here.
Don't threaten it
Okay.
because then you get it.
That's a 4-letter word, when. All right. Domestically, if I'll sell my bushels of soybeans at $4, I can get rid of all of them. But the world price is out there. And our last slide told us, why sell for anything but the world price if the world price is better? So we'll sell 300 bushels domestically for $6 a bushel with no extra transportation costs. We're going to get the world price here at home. We just don't sell everything. Wait. Domestically, producers want to sell 750 bushels at this $6 price. So what's left for them, because this is domestic, what's left for them to trade? 450, the difference between what they can sell domestically and what they want to sell at that price.
ta-da. Light bulbs.
So that's the actual quantity
They're going to sell 750 bushels. They're going to sell 300 of them to the grain elevator in town, to Chuck, at the grain elevator in town. And then they're going to ship 450 out of them by tanker to Botswana.
To the Panda Army. Yeah, they gotta make their soy sauce.
Yes, Chuck. It's not actually a price floor. It's like a price floor, but it's not a price floor. If a price floor existed, and when we start talking about trade restrictions, they will act like price controls. But you're getting ahead, Chuck. Yes, you're getting ahead. Good. Good boy. But, whoa. Dash B?
Later on, will we get to talk about tariffs on it?
Oh, yes. We will talk about trade restrictions. Yes. Sure.
This might be a little
Gee, that would be really
ahead
easy
of what we're gonna cover, but so like let's say I make jeans in the United States, and then I move to China.
You move your factory to China?
Well, let's say yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So even though like I'm basically an American company, do I still have to pay the tariffs to bring it in the
No, your trade is based on the country where the manufacturing actually takes place. So you would then be subject to Chinese trade restrictions.
okay.
And that topic is part micro, mostly macro. Okay. Okay. A little bit about soybeans for you guys. In 2008, this is truly relevant. In 2008, the U.S. grew 3 billion bushels of soybeans. 3 billion. The average price per bushel was $9.25 a bushel. I'll math that for you real quickly. It's over $27 billion. 70% of our edible consumption of fats and oils came out of those soybeans. We exported 1.2 billion bushels of soybeans. That was a sum total of 40% of all international trade in soybeans. The biggest purchasers of our soybeans, China, 7.2 billion. Mexico for 1.7 billion. Japan, 1.3 billion. And the EU, 1.6 billion.
The EU just count as one?
What?
Does the EU just count as one thing?
Yes. Because we trade with the EU. European Union.
So did they deliberate amongst the countries?
Yeah, they just divide it amongst themselves and get it.
No. But in terms of trade restrictions and stuff, they're one entity. There are no internal trade restrictions within the EU.
Oh, so okay.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
That's none of our business.
Are you learning to love graphs like this with the letters?
Actually, I do.
Okay. So we've got our export. Without trade, CS is what? What does CS stand for? Without trade, consumer surplus is A plus B. Producer surplus is what? So total surplus is? Okay. With trade, what is consumer surplus? A. With trade, producer surplus is? No, don't Michael Jackson me. BDC is producer surplus. Because the producers are totally winning here. Yes? So what is total surplus? And where are our gains from trade? D. B was part of consumer surplus. Yes, sir.
Is there any scenario where consumers come out on top? Or none?
When importing, this is the exporting. When importing, consumers should come out on top. All right. Should we start with some practice?
No.
Yes.
We only have 3 minutes.
Practice.
Practice makes perfect.
All right. Plasma TVs. Without trade, the domestic price is $3,000 a TV. The quantity is 400 TVs. On the world market, you can get rid of your TV for $1,500. What do you suppose we're going to do here? Are we going to export or import? We're going to import. We're going to buy some TVs at $1,500.
From China.
Under free trade, how many TVs will the country import or export? 400, because you're going to go from the difference between 200 and 600, right? We're going to import.
Oh, okay.
So consumer surplus, right? So our imports are going to be 400, like you said.
So,
Yes?
Wait, so per $15,000, it's
$1,500.
$400. $1,500.
We're going to buy, at $1,500, we're going to buy 600 TVs.
Yeah.
But we're going to buy 200 of them from Joe down the street who's making them in his garage. And we're going to import 400 of them from Taiwan.
Okay, I see.
Wait, so we're importing 600
No, we are buying 600
from who?
total.
Oh,
We're buying 200 from within our country and the extra 400 from outside the country. We'll start with consumer surplus and stuff.
Consumer